everyone. I hope you're having a beautiful day today. Alright, so I am going to just start getting a reading for whoever this is meant to see. I firmly believe that the powers of the universe align us. So if I was on your screen today, maybe this was meant for you. Okay, so here's a message from Spirit. You've been really thinking a lot about something that happened in the past, and it's almost impossible to like move forward, but you can't go back. And it's really heartbreaking for you, but you have a lot of hope. And the reason you move forward in life is because you were driven by something internal that other people can't understand. And there has been a driving force in your life that is invisible for the past few years. And people don't understand, because before you didn't have this invisible force, before you didn't have this faith, before you didn't have this hope, you didn't have this kind of drive in life. And so people want you to know that, or people people want you to know. Okay, so people want you to know that they don't understand what it, and it, I guess Spirit is trying to say is like people don't understand what is driving you, right? And so it doesn't matter what other people think, is what Spirit is saying also, that this guiding force will be with you for the rest of your life. And so you have been driven over the past few years by this force, and no one can see it, right? And no one understands it, because you try to explain it to people and they kind of look at you side-eyed, and you know exactly what you're saying. You're 100% behind it. You know exactly what's going on because you believe it. That's what you've been doing. You've been following your heart and your motivation and your desires. And other people, it looks so crazy to them, like they have no idea what you're doing. But to you, it's like, hello, I'm following my heart. I'm following my desire. I'm following the drive from Spirit. And to other people who haven't experienced this type of thing before, and especially to the people who you were around before you had this enlightenment experience, before you started to go toward the light, before you started to be approached by Spirit, you know, you were always people pleasing. You were always, you had a dark side, and you were like, you weren't the clean cut moral person that you are today. Okay, and a lot of people that become these ethical, moral driving forces have had some sort of dark past, right? They have had some sort of dark night of the soul, right? And I think some people expect you to stay where you are despite everything. Well, and then especially these people, they don't understand. Spirit wants you to know, I guess the overall thing is Spirit wants you to understand that these people don't understand. You keep expecting them to understand, because to you it's crystal clear. It's clear as day. Like you can see what's going on. You know what you're doing. You know that every decision that you're making is aligning, even though to other people it might look as if you're stuck, or you're crazy, or you're making all these random cuckoo choices. But Spirit wants you to know it doesn't really matter. Okay, it doesn't really matter. You have to forgive them, and forgiving doesn't mean that you have to go back to them. Okay, forgiving does not mean that you need to reignite a relationship with them at all or spark a conversation with them at all. Um, what Spirit is saying as far as forgiveness is you need to let go of the expectation that they are going to ever be in the same mental understanding or spiritual understanding as you, because they don't have that. And unfortunately, it's the case. Okay. And it took me a really long time. It might take other people a really long time to understand as well. But that when you have this spiritual experience where you are now being driven by something more, that's something that is outside of you, okay, it feels like it's commonly known. Like it feels like it's something that everyone else should know, that there's this thing we can tap into, right? This inner loving, awesome power that can guide us and love us and direct us. And other people don't have that. Okay, they might mirror it, they might puppet it real easy. They might be able to be like, oh, yeah, I go to church every Sunday and I pray to God, and you know, I read tarot cards or whatever, like but that's a wolf in sheep's clothing, and there are so many of them. There's actually more wolf than there are actually sheep. Like it, you know what I mean? Like just to be a sheep, not in like a sheep following the herd, as in like a lamb, you know. But your heart has been like really, really. This is someone that really had an influence on your heart space, and you gave your all to this person, and this person really hurt you, and they have been like that your whole entire relationship or your whole entire life or however long you've known them, and they never changed, and you changed. And so one day, you had to decide that this isn't the type of stuff that you were going to allow into your life. And you decided that, I just have to, like, these cards are insane. Like, okay. So you decided that you weren't going to take it anymore because it was killing you. Like, your soul was broken, right? And so you couldn't, you had to make the right decisions. You had to make the right decisions in life. And you left and you went forward, but by spirit. Spirit was leading you towards a more abundant life, because that's what you deserve and that was what you desire. And so the energy was leading you this way, and it didn't seem like what the typical, capitalist person would do, which is who we are usually surrounded by. And so this person, what seems like a very typical capitalist person, was telling you that you're never going to make money, you're never going to be successful, you're never going to be abundant this way. But you were being led by something they couldn't see, so they were like really thinking you lost your shit and that you were never going to make it. And so they started talking crap about you behind your back on top of it. And you just kept going, and you just kept being driven and praying and doing what you needed to do. And so it was like no one could see it but you, right? You knew the destination, you knew where you're going, you still know where you're going, and other people are like, what is this? How does this all align? Like, what are you doing? You're doing all these different things, right? And Spirit wants you to know, keep going, because you are so close. And these other people who have literally, I think for some of you, it could have been a spouse. And I think for others, it could have been your parents, or both. It could have been both for some of you too. And I think that those are the people, when you first are told that you have to stay with your spouse forever, and your whole family is like, you have to stay with your spouse forever, and this person is like killing you, then then you have to make the ultimate decision to sacrifice other things, like others' opinions of you, and save yourself. And that comes with a lot of social consequences. In the past, being condemned from one's village was very, significant, and, it made it really hard to access resources and things like that. However, now you have the ability to totally make a different move and make a different life for yourself. And that's what you've been doing. And these people are still doing the same thing. They literally haven't moved, they haven't changed, they're still talking about you, and it's not going to change, okay? But the spirit is saying it's not going to change. It's not going to change. Unfortunately, it's just not going to change. And if you keep revisiting this, right? If you keep allowing these, why can't they just accept me? Why can't they just understand who I am? I think it was a spouse for some of you, okay? Like, you have to keep being driven by this ultimately powerful force that's inside of you, okay? And Spirit wants you to know that you don't need to worry, because those people are not going to change, like I just said. And that's a hard thing to accept, but that's why we have to forgive, because we have to forgive so that we can move forward, so that we can be really, really clear. And because when we're just being boggled down by the never ending, why can't they just understand me or accept me? Because they're not going to. They're not going to. It's hard to accept, but they're not going to. And, you've been on your own since you were a baby. Or, you feel like you've been alone since you were a baby. And Spirit is allowing you to rebirth in this process, to become a star, to become who you truly are, by forgiving them, by forgiving yourself. You will be able to move over this huge obstacle that you haven't been able to in a really long time. So you might have to take the forgiveness with you. That's it. That's the only thing you're taking with you, is the forgiveness. So I hope that resonated with some people. It felt really clean coming out, so I don't know exactly what I said. I could be from Eastern Europe. I know that my ancestors are all over the place, but I have Irish, Welsh. My last name is from Wales, but I know I have Norwegian and Viking and Swedish and German. But I don't know. I thought I had, I haven't taken the test yet. I worry about those tests. But I'm definitely a mutt, just like my dog. I'm third generation from Colorado, actually, but then I moved to Virginia. But my mom's side of the family came from the North United States, and they're Irish descendant. And then I know that on the other side, related to Captain Morgan, and he went to the Caribbean island. And so I don't know. I really don't know. I don't really care, because I think that that's neither here nor there these days, really. Whoop. All right. Anyways, I hope that resonated with somebody, and thank you for stopping in. Have a beautiful day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.